discussion that's going to be around Sphinx. So just we'll go through a few quick news related to nodl quickly. Should take a few minutes, and then we'll move on to an open discussion.
Wait just a second. I'm not sure the stream actually started. YouTube says that it's live, but I don't see the feedback. Okay, now it's live. Sorry.
Okay. Just quick updates around nodl. We are currently running version 0.1.2 on the hardware. Some people running the nodl OG, so the original nodl, might be experiencing a few issues since Electrum upgraded, but Keto's working on that and should be fixed soon. Anyone running nodl 1 and nodl Dojo should be absolutely fine. Make sure you upgrade your hardware. And I guess everybody should be, look forward to version 0.1.3, which hopefully will come out this week with a lot of cool new features that everybody seems to be talking about these days. As far as the cloud goes, we announced nodl Cloud last month during our first call. We're slowly starting to onboard our first users. People will see during the test that it's kind of slow. IBD process is a little long, but it can only get better. And anyone who's subscribing to the service, obviously, you are only charged once it's running, so no worries about that. We doubled RAM on our servers this weekend, so hopefully everything goes a little faster. Coming up in the next few days. As far as production and shipping of all the orders, null ones are shipping regularly. There's no backlog there. And since we announced last month that we would open up the store again to the nodl Dojo, we placed a large order of boards that are being made specifically for us right now, and we should probably see them being shipped to us within the next 10 days. Then we need to build the nodes, test them, and ship them out to everybody who's been waiting on them for a little bit. So we're still targeting, end of the year for that. And maybe last part, and that might introduce us into the Sphinx discussion. Keto's been really busy these days cleaning some channels for the hubs that we run for Sphinx. So that's part of our infrastructure too. Maybe something that people don't see as much, but we do run large hubs, and that's been a little bit of a pain for Keto these days to make them work. And maybe that's something that we can discuss a little bit during the call today, is what it actually means to have these apps over Lightning in how they communicate. So Paul, we're super happy to have you here today with us. We've been talking about Sphinx for quite a long time, over a year now, I guess. It has evolved a lot since we first started talking about this. But I hear everybody's talking about podcasting 2.0 right now. That seems to be the thing that a lot of people are excited about. Maybe it'd be interesting for you to give us a little bit of a history around what Sphinx started out as, where it is today, how it's evolved, and give us an introduction around that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. I'll give a quick kind of history of how I got into it a little bit. I was running just into Lightning in general. I was running a nutrition app actually, and it's funny how Keto and I met was the app has to help teach people how to eat the keto diet. And so that app has been downloaded over 1 million times now, and people, it was just a labor of love, free app, just teaching people how to do it. But we had very real costs around receiving images from people of food items that were not in our database. And so we were paying people around the world of PayPal to do the data entry when those image labels would come in. And so it was kind of a pain, and it was a real cost. And I was interested in lighting. I read about it, and I thought, well, what if we actually posted these images and just let anonymous random people do the task? Would they do them accurately? Would anyone have any idea what lighting was? And we did a quick site, posted it up there, and literally, once we figured out that one little trick is if you put the whole label up there, you get bad accuracy. But if you chop the label up into tiny slices, which fits really well with micropayments, then if we just ask people to type in the number next to the word carbohydrates or sugar, then the accuracy was excellent. And the price could be lowered down enough where it made sense for us. And obviously the users were picking them up, so it made sense for them. So it's a real open marketplace for just, if you have some spare time, you hop on your mobile phone, you type in a couple numbers. It's like doing captchas over and over again. And we couldn't keep the tasks up there fast enough. And so we would post them, and we have around 500 images a day for that particular app of new products that were coming in. And the Lightning workers helped us build now a database of about 2 million food items, and it goes on every day still now at about 200 to 300 new items a day from around the world, all running over Lightning, and all people earning sats in all these different countries. And that was an amazing pattern that we set up. But as soon as I looked at Lightning, I was reading an article back in fall of 2018, and it was why Brian Acton left Facebook after they acquired WeChat. And just listening to him be unhappy with how Zuckerberg was taking things, and they were going to try to put in ads and all this stuff. And he was having fights with, I guess, Sheryl Sandberg and stuff about that. Interesting article, fall 2018. I just immediately thought, oh, you could do this over Lightning. You could just packetize it and do it. So that's how sort of the birth of the idea for Chat over Lightning started.
And very soon in the discussions, when you started telling us about Sphinx, you had a vision of people being able to use your apps. Or do you want to talk about Stack and Sphinx and how they relate to each other, maybe?
Yeah, I can give this. So our kind of goal as a company is actually to become the world's largest mobile phone company. So these actually two come together where we have just right now started shipping more phones, but we have around 70 phones in the field, primarily in the Philippines. And we buy the SIM card, the Android phone, and then we have this special version of Android that lets us brick the phone remotely, and it's hard to wipe off the phone. And so the users get a free phone, and they get Sphinx, and they get a login to Stack. And for around 15 minutes a day, and it takes around 6 weeks right now, you can actually earn the entire price of the phone and actually earn the phone back. And so we communicate Stack. Most people don't know this, but with Sphinx, you can use Sphinx to sign a challenge just like OAuth and log into any website that supports it. And so we put that into Stack. So the user experience for Stack worker who has one of these phones is they open up the phone, they open up Sphinx, and then they load Stack work right inside of Sphinx. And there's no password, no login. They do the work. And then they actually get paid straight to their Sphinx wallet. And we just added in loop out. So you can actually loop out from Sphinx now directly to the wallet. The most popular one in the Philippines is coins.ph. And for just under 3%, you can actually all on your phone do the work, transfer the sats, loop out, and then you have your coins and coins.ph. You have your Bitcoin and coins.ph. And then you can actually just deposit it straight from coins.ph into your bank account in the Philippines. So work to cash, all on your phone, and for right around 3%. And we've checked, they don't actually rip people off on the spread. It's actually like a great product. And so we want to roll these phones out to more and more people. And tons of people in that country can't afford a phone. Families share a single flip phone. And so having your own smartphone is kind of just a crazy thing. And we have young people with these 16, 17, 18-year-olds with these phones. We just hear anecdotally because we actually don't know who they are. So we have local contacts who buy the phones and distribute them. And if you think about it, this person is the most cypherpunk person you can think of, because the SIM is in our name. The phone, there's no receipt in their name. They've never had, through Sphinx, they've actually never had a KYC Bitcoin experience. And technically, they've never been on chain because we fund the channel from our side. And so they can message, they can join tribes. I mean, it's very primitive right now, right? But they can do work, they can bank. And the first time they really show up on the radar is on CoinsPH. But a lot of them are kind of doing peer-to-peer, where they send sats to their friend who has CoinsPH in a bank account, and then their friend gives them the cash. And so I like to think of this kind of 17-year-old prototypical person. I've talked about this several times to people, but I think about this person who is a full-fledged earner of Bitcoin. They can message friends, they can do all these things through the suite of products, and they literally are off the grid. I don't know their name. Cell phone company doesn't know their name. No exchange knows their name unless they go the CoinsPH route. But they're fully functioning and they're completely anonymous. So could you do that in the millions? Could you do that in different countries? I really do think you can. So that's how it all fits together.
But it's pretty funny to me that it really started with, at least the way I got it at first, was people can like work for 15 minutes a day and just pay for their cell phone as a great incentive to onboard people into what now is something like we're just rebuilding the entire internet and correcting it where it fails in terms of like, respect for privacy and resistance to censorship and everything.
And I'm particularly attracted to this population of people who are off of the Western grid. Like this really isn't a product if you live in Chicago, right? But I used to be in the running business, and I've been to running events in over 60 countries, and that's how I ended up in all these places. And just my perspective of what literally no resources means is when you go to the outskirts of Manila and you see what no resources really means, right? And so getting this phone kind of airdropped in there, getting the ability to work without anyone gatekeeping on you, it's just your own time and accuracy and willpower. I feel like that's just having these young people grow up outside of the surveillance capitalism pattern that we're all in here. We're all on whatever, Gmail and Slack, and we have this mental calculus in the back of our head that we trade this software functionality that we're getting from them in return for slices of our privacy. And there's that kind of push-pull with all these different services, right? And so these guys actually may end up growing up without ever having that concept. So that, I feel like that could turn into some really interesting people. And those people will be Bitcoiners without even knowing it in the beginning. Most of our workers on Stack don't even know what Bitcoin is. They just know that this thing turns into cash and their friends swear by it. And it's all word of mouth. You've noticed we don't talk about Stack on social media. We don't have Twitter. We don't do anything. We're kind of lame in that regard. But because it doesn't help us out any, right? These people aren't on Twitter and they could care less. They just say, hey, I need to make money and here's a way to do it that my cousin does it this way, and they have a phone. And I mean, anecdotally, if you have a shiny brand new smartphone in these neighborhoods, this is a big deal. This is like pulling up to the high school in a Porsche or something like that. So I think it's cool, and who knows where it ends up. But this is what we're working on. Yeah,
I think it's really fascinating how much further it goes than what, maybe what we've seen of Sphinx these days on Twitter, because there's been quite a bit of chatter about it, and the tribes are going fairly well, I guess, these days. But that's not what or I usually see from you when we discuss that, and in the vision behind it is awesome, I find.
Well,
So it's interesting to see other people, see that aspect of it.
Well, I think that having, I mean, definitely the original sin of the internet, and just my background was learning to code HTML in '93, right? So I date myself a bit there. But seeing all these pieces layer in the first time anyone I did Perl CGI scripting. So that feeling the first time when a page is not rendered from static HTML, but you actually generated it from code was an insane feeling. Just like, you got to be kidding me that this could show up anywhere in the world. So seeing those kind of layers revealed over time and seeing cookies, seeing all these things happen, but the payment thing never really happening. So now sort of pattern matching what happened and did not happen in that first wave, seeing this now with Lightning, what we can do with whatever you want to call Web3, whatever this is. But the unique part about Lightning is the easy part is sending data back and forth over TCP/IP. That's been done in a million different ways. But what Lightning brings to the table, and I don't think anyone outside of this circle of Lightning fanatics really understands, is that things get really interesting when you can communicate money, right? Money is incentive. That's what we're doing at Stackwork. I'm just writing a number on the screen that says the next 10 seconds of your life will earn you 70 sats, guaranteed. And then you can withdraw, and then you own them, and they're yours. Now I've just communicated the task that they need to do, and we've just communicated the SAT rewards, the incentive for spending that next 10 seconds of their lives. And so if you see all this writing about Bitcoin where it's storing your time, right, in a great asset, I mean, this is as direct as you can get, right? You're turning seconds into sats. And so when you can do that over a network, and that's what Sphinx is really about, is showcasing how can I talk to someone pseudonymously, right, behind these pub keys, and how can I communicate thoughts, and how can I communicate incentive. So you notice in these tribes, they have boosts, right? That was a little afterthought. Let's just allow people to kind of clap back. It's a tap back. It's whatever it is. I'm not really on social. I barely use GIFs or emojis. But now you have this new form of expression. I'm not just tapping like, I just sent you a little bit of money, like instantly, and now it's in your wallet. Now you have it. You don't get paid out a month later. There's not this lag. It's this kind of instant, irrevocable transfer of value. So every medium we've had, from print, radio, TV, internet, VR, everything, is just, we all migrate toward the most efficient communication of emotions between humans. And to leave off the transfer of incentives electronically is a huge missing hole in human interactions over the digital world. And that's what Bitcoin enabled initially, and what Lightning lets you do in a much more freeform way. And so that's really why we extended Sphinx to do all of these things outside of what we need in Stack, just to show people, hey, you don't have to be in Facebook. You don't have to wait to get deplatformed by YouTube. You can actually do all of this stuff over Lightning. There's nothing unique about the web, right? It's just sending characters back and forth and then having something on the other end interpret those characters. Anyway, sorry about the long rant, but that's no,
it's great. I mean, yeah. And we definitely noticed, I've seen quite a few boosts this week. Like there's that TFTC tribe that's going really well, I guess, these days. I think Matt and Marty are here. I think I saw Marty. But this seems to be, used by a lot of people there. And obviously, I mean, we're not content producers, but like, I understand the appeal for people producing content to say, well, I can get paid, etc. But this to me is not necessarily as interesting as the I just can't be deplatformed aspect. That's maybe much more important. When you work so hard to build, some kind of following, that aspect seems to be really the most important, and that's what you build behind Sphinx. That I think is really interesting. That's what Lightning brings, more than just the monetary aspect. No?
I think it's, if I can interject here, I think it's a combination of both. I think being able to monetize your podcast via apps like just Sphinx outside of advertisements is a form of being uncensorable. If you listen to the episode I recorded with Adam Curry, it's one thing he actually pointed out is that advertisement is a form of censorship because it could force hosts and others to self-censor. So I think the combination of having the distributed content distribution model with the distributed content monetization model, value for value model, is a powerful combination. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun playing with it. Like I said on that episode particularly, shout out to Paul and team. Sphinx app has been one of the stickiest apps I've downloaded in recent years. I've been using it every day, and I had a hellish commute back from a trip yesterday and had a 2-hour drive from like midnight to 2:30 a.m. And I put on a No Agenda podcast via the Sphinx app, and it was like crazy. I was driving home with my wife. I was like, "Hey, we're streaming sats to Adam Curry and John Dvorak now." And it's pretty revolutionary. I think the combination of the distributed content and the decentralized monetization via the Lightning Network is a powerful combination.
Yeah, I like what
I can't wait for people to discover. Sorry, I was just saying I can't wait for people to discover, and you guys should try it, Marty. Another thing is hosting impromptu calls like this, because in Sphinx you can just tap on and you can start a Jitsi call. And I feel like all of this scheduled stuff, I mean, and this is fine. We have to schedule some things where to get large groups of people together. But I really feel like what the way we've used Sphinx internally is just impromptu stuff. It's just hop on a call, you're in a chat, you tap the call, it's audio, video, choice, screen share. And then as you're chatting, you're just in there. And so it's kind of like Slack. And we've integrated it with GitHub and everything too. So the podcasting thing is really just scratching the surface of using a platform where you're not leaving this huge trail. I mean, the same thing that happened with Zoom, where people realized how nefarious Zoom is as a product and as a company. People are going to find that out about Slack. The Slack is even worse in a sense of how it's all mixed together. But anyway, I go off on a little bit of a tangent, but apply this whole thing to that you're seeing in podcasting and with streaming, and then extend that into Zoom calls, extend that into online events. I mean, it's just a mashup of these exact same tools where you can stream, instead of paying $100 to attend an event. What if you just start listening to the seminars or whatever you're listening to and just pay as you listen? I think it opens up a whole new world of interactions.
Yeah, and it's great how you can plug in wallets of anyone you want to list as a co-producer of the content, or it opens up creativity, I guess, in new models of rewarding the people you work with, and I think that's super exciting. That's a part that Adam touched upon in the pod when he talked to Marty, that I thought was really, really interesting, in the way they can, they thought about it.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to figure out more as to how to access those value blocks and get all that distribution of sats figured out. Just from like a UX perspective, I'm completely blind when it comes to that.
Yeah, we can help you with that. And I think it'll get more and more. You'll have more control over how you want to do it. I think an untapped way to do it would be to share these clips out there. I mean, the Rogan podcast, people go back and say it didn't get huge until he started sharing clips on YouTube. And that's what really spread the listenership, was these little bite-sized chunks that get people into it. And so podcasts really don't have that very well, but there's a way that we can actually incentivize people to create clips, and then they get cut into the value flow as well. So that's still shaping up.
Yeah, and that's one thing I struggle with I tried it. I'm sure if you follow my Twitter, I've tried to do it in the past. It's just very time consuming, especially with all the content we're making and working with Great American Mining as well. Just somebody is editing everything and publishing everything by myself. And to open that up to the freaks, just to mechanical Turk that stuff out.
Well, it becomes like a live show, right? Where your own editor, where producers, as Adam calls them, are actually building the show as they're listening. It's kind of cool. And wait till you see the graphs of what you can do with which was minute 16 boosted a bunch. I mean, the graphs that we can generate off of this thing are really interesting for you. So
I think one of my favorite aspects, underappreciated aspects of the Sphinx tribe is the ability for the users to just easily link directly in line to the part of the track that they're enjoying or they want to talk about.
we need to make that easier. Right now, we just have a start time. We need to add an end time to it. We kind of went with the easiest version first. And then how cool would it be to provide an easy way to export that clip onto general social media?
Yeah, that would be incredible. And then, as Adam and I discussed too, like if it does get exported to other social media, if you could figure out, well, it would sort of be hard. You have to expect the end users on the social media to have wallets open, but figuring out how to pay the people outside of Sphinx app who clip stuff.
Yeah, as long as the person who generated the clips has the pub key that can accept key sends, not even Sphinx, right? Just any pub key, you can have just a node running to receive it. We could actually, as a third party, harvest those tags in a way and then pay it out that way. So there's a couple pieces that have to come together for that all to happen, but it's almost like a combination of like bottle pay or one of those types of tipping apps, and then linking that up to the podcasting 2.0 flow. I mean, but we're getting approached by people who want to do this for YouTube, for newsletters. I mean, I think people have been burned enough where you build an audience on a third-party platform and you just get either demonetized or de-algoed or just deplatformed, period, where if you're going to build an audience like you guys are doing now, there's no way for us or anyone to deplatform you, right? And that I think people will notice that difference. And they'll say, the way I put it is, would you pay to build your company's headquarters on land loaned to you? Be insane, right? Because, yeah, so I look at building an audience on a third-party platform the same way.
So from a technical point of view, because everybody seems to be liking the service and there's so much opportunity to add on top of it. What are the limiting factors technically? Because there's been issues, and what's the biggest problem you think?
I think it's any new tech. It goes surprisingly well, right? We had a lot of this done, but when Adam literally cold emailed us, I joined his Mastodon, but he was already into Lightning. That guy is super articulate, loves to play with stuff, loves to break things. He's just a real asset for any new technology. But it took us, I think, just under 10 days to have literally the first sats showing up in his Raspberry Pi home node, which is pretty awesome. And so technically it's not too daunting. It's running lots of nodes, right? And decentralizing all these pieces. And a lot of times, just so you guys know, when we built this thing, it's been painful, but as you guys know, starting off from day one, disconnecting our pool of nodes from your pool of nodes, forcing a one-to-many relationship at every step of the way. So when you store an image, it's stored on the meme server we run. But anyone can go in and change that server, and then ultimately we might have hundreds of servers and people making money just hosting files for people. You guys as podcasters pay to host those MP3 files. Why couldn't that be moved to a decentralized platform itself at some point, right? And then people could earn sats using LSATs or any, kind of the work that SureBits has been doing to where the podcast index could run behind a paid API, where the player is paying tiny amounts of millisats to query the latest episodes. So again, all these pieces are there, and we've made it a little hard for ourselves just by trying to keep everything as decentralized as possible, so that, I mean, nodl can run nodes. The podcast hosting companies are reaching out, wanting to learn how to run nodes. Voltage will run nodes. It's all good, right? We want as many people providing as many parts. That's the resiliency of the Lightning Network. So it's just, I think Lightning will have routing nodes. They'll have end user nodes. You'll have file storage nodes. You'll have nodes that are just sitting on top of an API. And those will all be parts of the Lightning Network.
Yeah, I'm insanely bullish on the Lightning Network right now. I mean, I've been a cheerleader for quite a while, but after interacting with Sphinx, sorry for calling it Sphinx for a while there too.
No worries.
It's my poor pronunciation, which is a running gag. But after interacting, it's really opened my eyes, and sidebarring with Ryan Gentry a little bit too. Again, like going after merchant adoption probably wasn't the best first go for Lightning product market fit wise. And I think we're stumbling into a perfect product market fit here with what's going on. Again, it's very sticky. It feels good contributing to the podcast that you listen to, in developing these communities while decentralizing your content distribution is all plus. So again, I've said it many times in our tribe, but it feels like we're at the beginning of something huge here.
Yeah, and anything you and Matt can do to kind of interact in your tribe in the earliest way, so that they feel, I mean, this is that whole concept of Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans, right? It's just you guys have an amazing connection with the audience. And I think the tribe is just a way to really, reward and interact with, it may never be more than 1,000 people, who cares, right? But it's kind of that core people that you're keeping in touch with and you're listening to. And we want to make it so that you can personalize as much as possible. So like animations, our designer just came up with a funny little hoot animation where, as the tribe admin, you can change all the default sets of stickers or emojis or animations that happen in your tribe, which are key things. They sound frivolous, but they're key things to making people, we evolve to look for those signals. I recorded that. So yeah, I don't know if we're going way over time, but does anyone have any questions about, I guess, for me or for anyone on this whole topic? There's so many other things to go, directions this is going in. I mean, I'll throw out a 30-second, going to sound far off, but my take on the node in the home, the product I'm looking for, and I think that what we'll see the nodl turn into and all the home nodes will be that we will pull the algos from the Googles and YouTubes, and you will train your own algo on your own home device. Right now, there's that push-pull where you want the functionality from Google for spam protection, but you don't want to give them your email anymore, right? And so those algos don't need to be run by large tech companies anymore. They're all open source. You can run them on, once they're trained, on very small devices. And then you take a generically trained model, whatever it is. I mean, it could be Google Photos. It could be anything that you use out there that's finding content for you and making your life easier. It will happen. You will run this in your own home device. And instead of giving as little as possible that you can while getting the functionality, when it's your own, you'll be motivated to give your own algo as much information as you can. Except instead of it being like Alexa talking to Amazon, it's your own device that you're training to help you out. And that will do everything from find the cheapest feed for moving Bitcoin throughout the week based on your instructions, to calendaring, to scheduling, to content suggestions and everything. And I just think that that's something that no one has really been talking enough about. Maybe Start9 is, I'm not sure who's working on that kind of stuff, but I see Sphinx being a completely hand in glove fit with that, where instead of Twitter trying to tell you what you should look at, your own system is going out and looking for things that you should know or would like to know. So maybe ending on that note, it's just kind of a request for product, but I think that that's going to happen, and that will drive the home loan market. It's insane.
Yeah, I think Keto's asleep right now, but you know, I said loop out for next version upgrade of our hardware. We might have something related to Sphinx coming up too soon for our users at least. So they should be looking forward to that.
Keto, how's the leg feeling?
I think Keto's sick, so he's trying to.
I'm not far, but I have almost no voice, so I'm trying to spare it.
So yeah, no, but there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, we're super excited about Sphinx. You know, we've been working with Paul for the past year or so. So obviously, we love everything you do. It's great to see it. You know, work better and better. It's really fun. We've switched over from Keybase to Sphinx a little bit these days with Keto, just for our own conversations. So it's kind of funny, and we're super excited too. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and for anyone who's interested on the call, just reach out. I mean, we're using it in many ways that we haven't announced yet, but we basically ditched Slack, Skype, everything else, and we've been eating our own dog food on the product, and it's been working really well for us. So
If you don't
thanks
mind me,
again for having me. And yeah, go ahead.
Paul, I was just going to interject. If you don't mind me asking, like, do you see this streaming of sats to the app developer as a way to monetize your app moving forward? Like, is the amount of sats being streamed to you guys material right now? I know this may be personal, but just genuinely curious.
It's not material yet, but I look at just, I mean, developers make fun of microservices, but if you look at just Sphinx as an app where if we can provide value, we can earn through routing fees, where now we have them set to almost zero. But there's lots of different ways to monetize the activity around this in a way that's or I guess everything is rent seeking a little bit, but you're basically getting paid a market value for the functionality you provide, right? And so I see us being able to monetize file storage, just being early on this stuff, and also pro tools. That if you look at the benefit is we saw how all this played out. If you're a podcaster and you want to just have a tribe and have people listen, that's kind of the just, hey, that's completely open source. Everyone's doing that. Now, get to the second level, we're like, wait a minute, I have 10,000 people in my tribe. I want to message groups of people. I want to schedule things out. I would call those things more like pro tools. And I've seen a lot of those automation tools, and those are the kind of things that later on we or someone else could actually build. And as a tribe host, you could say, yeah, it's worth 10, 15, 20 bucks a month to go ahead and use these pro tools. So that's the way I envision things happening, but I don't think about that very much. I think about just how do we grow this entire thing, get it into orbit, and just have people understand this new world. It's very hard for people to understand this, but yeah, I mean, just like you guys are seeing the Michael Saylors on the Bitcoin world, people in the Teslas and the Apples are watching Lightning like crazy, and they're not talking about it.
Damn, you've just made everybody really curious now.
It's crazy. So
that doesn't sound like an ending.
No, it's crazy. So I'm just scared of it being too early. Like, I don't want people to try things when it barely works. And I think it's working okay now, but it's got several layers to go before it's ready for prime time. And the people who know how this tech works at large scale know that if you jack in a plug to the wrong voltage, you blow up the device. So nobody wants to see that happen.
Yeah, and I think the primitives you guys have laid out right now are perfect. Just boost, stream. chat. It's a really good base to build off of.
Yeah, freedom assembly is tribes, right? If you look at what the Reed Coase's theory of the firm, like what is a firm, what is an enterprise, what is a business, and then map exactly that to the primitives that we made, and then you can mix and match them into basically any human initiative, associate, communicate, pay, route payments, kick people out if you need to. I mean, it's all there in a decentralized way. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for having me, and let's keep pushing these products forward. I do want to see my own home AI on a nodl device, though, sometime. So I'll keep pushing for that.
Sometime soon.
It's coming.
Yeah, I wanted to turn my solar roof on and off. I wanted to allow my Tesla to go out and give someone a ride because it knows my schedule, right? Think about all those things you do that you want to have happen if something were on your team assisting you versus cringing when you release a calendar to another third party that now knows that whole slice about you, right? So that's a dead end model. Running it all inside your own device is what will work.
Yeah, what's fun actually is that I'm looking in different boards we could use for the next generation of devices, and it became almost impossible to buy anything that doesn't have some kind of GPU cores or machine learning acceleration embedded. So yeah, maybe the software won't be ready for next gen nodl, but the hardware definitely will have some capabilities in that direction.
Yeah, and always, I mean, we're in all of our Stackwork customers are machine learning customers who are trying to train models. So we're very familiar with that stack nowadays. And don't worry about the hardware. The models, once they're pre-trained, it's the training that takes the GPUs so that you can run these models on anything. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that more later. I know we're getting boring on that front, but I'll beat that drum until someone makes it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming by, Paul. It was great.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, see you guys.
Thank you for joining.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Awesome. Hey, maybe because I don't know what happened at first, I kind of forgot to just say a couple things in the news department. So just to maybe close off, I think we still have the BitcoinBlackFriday.com deals up. The guys at BTC Mag have put that website up. There are deals for a nodl on both hardware devices and on the nodl cloud for any new subscription. So if you want to check it out, maybe I'll post the links in the YouTube stream. And I don't know if anybody's been to the Reckless VR meeting last Saturday, but Keto was on it. So anybody who wants to take a look at it, maybe we'll also post the link so you can check out what he had to say. And the last thing is, we planned these for the last Thursdays every month, but last Thursday was Thanksgiving, and last Thursday in December is 31st. So I don't know when we'll be holding it, sometime in the month. So stay tuned. We'll post it on Twitter and Telegram as usual. And I think that's it. Keto, do you have anything else to add?
I don't have anything to add. If anyone wants to ask something, we can still keep it open for a few minutes. And
Yay. Hey, Marty, how's that TFTC tribe been going?
It's been great. It's been incredible. Again, like I said, it's extremely sticky. I love the interactions that are going on in there. Freaks are interacting, which is great. And then like outside of our tribe, I've been listening to No Agenda and Podcasting 2.0 as two particular podcasts via Sphinx, and I just love the experience being able to contribute back to podcasting a lot of value out of. And
so is it Adam that really got you onto Sphinx?
Well, it was you. I know.
Well, but I mean, we tried a few months ago, but it didn't work. Like when Adam came out with more explanations about it, I think it was clear to a lot of people, myself included, actually. But did you hear him talk about it before you came back on Sphinx?
I'm trying to remember because I interviewed him after I'd been on it for a couple weeks. I don't think it was him. I think it was somebody else who. It was him, maybe on a podcasting 2.0 podcast talking about it, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should get our tribe up there. It was like a race, like with all the not a race, but Matt and I have been talking about setting up, and the freaks have been asking for a podcast group where we can have conversations, and many wanted it to be on Telegram, but it gets noisy on Telegram, and I think the incentive to facilitate quality conversation by setting a floor,
threshold,
threshold of sats per message is really the impetus where it's like, all right, this seems like the perfect app to create this group we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's great. Only rich people can talk to you afterwards.
There's that, and there's the small amount of people as well. I mean, when you have 10,000 people on the tribe, I guess you move to another tribe, which will be more private.
Yeah, it's something I discussed with Adam Curry too. Is well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it's like rich people talking only per se, but
no, but there's a lot of things to test from a business perspective. I think it's interesting how you can stream money to people, compensate participants once or every time, make sure that they get paid even once the stream is done, just whenever someone listens to it, like 10 years later or something. I think it's interesting.
No, and then on top of that, I mean, it allows us to walk the walk and not just talk the talk of using this technology in the way that we've been talking about it for years now. And so the ability to send messages over the Lightning Network, stream payments, is something that we talk about every week on RHR and in some interviews. Like, Sphinx gives us the ability to actually follow up with what we've been talking about and help bring it to market. So I would feel like somewhat of a con artist if I weren't on it now.
On a personal note, how do you feel about like trying Bitcoin products more than Matt? I mean, you're the one testing it, really.
It's just this one product. I think Matt is way up on the scoreboard against me in terms of the number of products tested. You have anything to add to what I've been saying?
I mean, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus because I love you all.
All right, we'll stop it at that. Hey, I haven't heard any bottle pop. I guess it's too early for you guys, right?
I'm taking a break till next all-time high.
Yeah, I'm on a detox after spending a month on an island. It was too easy to turn to the bottle there, so yeah. I need to dry out a little bit.
Smart. All right, yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in, or
Thank you for inviting us, and sorry if I chimed in a little too much. Just very excited about all this stuff.
No, it's great. I mean, that's why we kind of wanted you there too. It's like it's fun to see people get excited about stuff that we're excited about. We've seen this and we've watched it for a while, but it was pretty much just us talking about it. Now it's fun to see it catch on a little bit because we're very bullish about Sphinx and everything that Paul's doing. So it's great to see people like it.
Yeah, you should get credit as one of the earliest and most vociferous advocates of Sphinx. Sorry it took me so long to actually start using it more, but yeah, I think the last few weeks particularly it was like really clicked, like, oh, this is how it works and this is the opportunity. Again,
just imagine that a little more than a year ago we were sending Sphinx messages letter by letter. So one payment was one letter, and now you can stream podcast.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, a lot has been done, so it's fun to see it work now. Anyways, well, thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll try to hold another call within the at the end of the month.
Before we end, can I just make one prediction?
Yes.
I think the understated killer use case of Sphinx might be distributed OnlyFans.
Oh yeah. We're working on on the market segments that we're looking
Stop.
at.
You need to
Stop.
get the photo and video capabilities up
one,
for that to
yeah.
work.
Obligatory stop watching porn.
Oh, we don't want your comments on porn, Marty. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's great for everybody's safety, you know.
Yeah. And
There's
if
a
we,
lot of incentives that are interesting to look at when you look at Sphinx in those decentralized apps and communicating and using money at the same time. I mean, it's
yeah,
a world of opportunity.
I will
It's just getting
concede.
started. Yeah.
I will concede that this is much better than Spank Chain for the adult actresses and actors.
It's the third time I hear you talk about Spank Chain this week. I think you got something for it. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. I hope we all talk soon. It was great to have you guys here, and we miss you, and hope to see you soon too.
Miss
Likewise.
you guys too. Thanks for
the
having
fun.
us.
Yeah. All right, Keto.
Thank you,
call it a
guys.
wrap. Yep.
I'm closing the stream.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.